Ayaz Memon, senior sports journalist, someone who's tracked the game for almost half a century, joins me. Shishir Attandi, former Mumbai captain, is also with us. Appreciate both of you joining us. Let me come to you, Ayaz, first. How do you see this whole politics and sport, the way it's playing out ahead of the T20 World Cup? Does it leave a sour taste in the mouth when Pakistan threatens to boycott the game against India, where Bangladesh has opted out of the tournament? Will this in any way color the tournament, or once the cricket starts, everything is forgotten?
No, I think it's been a big setback for the World Cup. This is the World Cup, Rajdeep. You've got one major country, which is Bangladesh, not participating at all. And then the blue ribbon, the marquee match of this tournament, India v Pakistan, is not going to happen because Pakistan has decided to boycott the game. So I think that politics has obviously been the cause of all of this. It saddens me as a cricket lover and somebody who's followed this game for so long that in all this, the political byplay which has been happening in the subcontinent, cricket has been the biggest sufferer, and nobody seems to be doing anything to ensure that cricket remains sacrosanct.
But how could you
It's
do
this.
that? As you're saying, nobody seems to be doing anything to ensure cricket remains sacrosanct. What do you do if governments of the day are deciding what a board action will be? It's the Pakistan government that decided the action for the PCB, Bangladesh government that decided the action for BCB, and dare I say, it's the Indian government that decides what the BCCI does.
Yes, so I think I won't put too much blame on the cricket boards of the respective countries because they are towing the line of the government. I mean, that much is clear. In a very kind of simplistic manner, if I might put it, really the issue can be resolved within minutes if the governments talk to each other and say, okay, we want this tournament to go on. But the boards cannot do it beyond a point.
Right.
We've seen what has happened. The Pakistan boycott has come after the government. Government put out a notice on X. The government of Pakistan, the BCB reacted to Mustafizur Rahman being, dumped by KKR from
Right.
the IPL. The government of Bangladesh responded there, and I dare say that the BCCI got, the KKR to take that action because there was a nudge from the government of India. So I think the governments must also be involved in this, in ensuring that sports, whatever else, I mean, politics will have its consequences, but how can we best ensure that
Right.
sports does not suffer is very important, I think, for all people, all the countries that are involved in this.
I'm joined by another special guest, the one and only Farokh Engineer, the redoubtable Farokh Engineer, one of the most charismatic cricketers that India has produced, one of the legends of the game. Farokh Uncle, welcome to the show. Kem Cho, how are you?
Thank you, Rajdeep. Always good to see you. Carry on with the compliments. I'm enjoying them.
Yeah, you're batting, what, 90, 89? You come from my father's generation, but there you are. Good to see you.
Absolutely. Your father was a
Uh,
great man, great cricketer, and a dear
uh,
friend. And you've been a
ju-
dear friend.
just to
You
ask
remember
you,
I used to change your nappies.
yeah, how do you see this whole thing about cricket and politics? The fact that Pakistan is
Well,
not has said it
well,
won't
whatever
play
the
against
politics,
India. How do you see it as a
Rajdeep,
veteran? Yes, go ahead.
veteran? I'm a youngster, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. As a youngster, how do you
Okay,
see it?
listen. Whatever the politics are, it's going to hurt cricket and it's going to hurt Pakistan cricket, especially because they can ill afford to, to let go of a huge match. I mean, Pakistan are playing much better cricket these days, and they would have given India much better, much stiffer competition. I know we were still going to lick them, but it's going to hurt Pakistan's finances immensely, and that's not good for cricket because the world cricket needs Pakistan to be a good side and play amicably. But it's their decision, of course, the government level.
But
I don't know what. I'm not
do you
privy
believe,
to all
Farooq
that.
bhai, do you believe, Farooq uncle, that it is possible to separate cricket and politics? When you were playing, South Africa, for example, for years was banned. The great cricketers like Barry Richards and Graham Pollock never
Indeed,
could
and
shine on the world stage.
I went on the
Yes,
first elite World 11 was picked when I was, when the tour of South Africa was cancelled,
yes.
and England played the elite World 11 where Gary Sobers, and I'm proud that I was the first Indian to have played for the elite
So,
World 11. Later on, Sunil Gavaskar and Bishan Bedi,
So,
you know,
so is it
came along.
is it possible in your view? We saw it with the South Africans. Then now we are seeing it with Pakistan, Bangladesh. Unfortunately, also getting caught in this politics. Do you really believe governments can keep sports out of politics? Do you believe Ayaz says governments should ensure that cricket is kept sacred, sacrosanct? Do you believe that's
Yeah,
possible
I
at
think
all?
BCCI will be guided by the government's views. You know, if the government says that there should be no cricket possible, to be played, then of course one has to be abide by the government's decision. But it'll hurt cricket. It'll hurt Pakistan cricket because they can ill afford. India, can afford. It will tarnish the T20 World Cup. You know, I'm so glad that our boys team and our girls team, they both are doing exceptionally well, and it would tarnish the wonderful game of cricket, the name of cricket, in fact, if this sadly happens.
Let,
I, for one, would go miles to see an India-Pakistan match. My first tour as a youngster was to Pakistan under Lala Amarnath, and there were no politics then. We played for Indian Starlets against Pakistan Eaglets, and that was such a wonderful tour. We played all over, Lahore, Karachi, and everywhere. And sadly, that's the only
this was the
time.
late. This was, I think, the late 1950s, if I'm not mistaken, where you
That's
played that
right,
tour.
something like that. You
Okay,
weren't
so
born then, Rajdeep, Yeah.
I wasn't born then. I'm going to stop you for a moment. I want to bring in Shishir Hatangdi, former Mumbai captain, on this. Shishir, we are looking at the World Cup, T20 World Cup, starting this weekend. All eyes, of course, will be on the cricket. But do you believe that the politics in some way has soiled the sport, that the last thing you want when a World Cup takes place is politics to take over?
To answer your question, yes, it has. And to be honest, it all started with the no handshake. That then, and then of course, Mr. Fizur not being allowed to play in the IPL with little support from ICC, only Pakistan supporting Bangladesh backing out, and now it's reached the stage where we don't know. Let's leave the financials aside of the World Cup, because we know that 70% of your revenue comes from these marquee games, and a lot of money will be lost. But we're not talking about money at this moment or commercials at the moment. I just feel at the moment that when governments dictate whether teams should play or no, what will happen is the sporting body just becomes an executor of the diktat from the government. And today you have two teams threatening not to play, one certainly not playing, one threatening not to play. What is to guarantee that in the next few years, four countries don't do that? And what will happen is it will be a gradual disintegration of, the fabric of world cricket. And there is a chance that it will happen, because if somebody sets a precedent, it's going to sort of cascading effect on other governments dictating to their boards what can be done, who should be played against, who should not be played against, and we don't know where this is going to end.
Yeah, but you wrote a nice piece the other day, Shishir Hatangdi, where you said, what about the players? And what about the fans? The real stakeholders in this sport are the players and the fans. Now, the fans of Bangladesh, for example, are helpless if their government takes this decision. The fans of Pakistan are helpless, and the fans of India also cannot dictate terms, it seems, to the BCCI, unless, of course, you're part of the social media outrage army. And the players, what do the players do? I mean, if I'm a Bangladeshi player today, I was looking forward to playing in the World Cup, what do I do? The players have lost out, Shishir.
Yes, and nobody's asked the players. Sadly, if you ask every player, would he like to play in the World Cup? It's a dream come true for him. And I think the players have no voice in any of the countries. They go by what the board decides. And today, if we are going to stop two teams, or two teams are not going to play, what does it do to the future of the generations that look up for inspiration and aspire to sort of get onto that stage in future?
That's a good point.
There's a roadblock, and at the end of the day, what we find is that the players are hardly looked at, and their opinions hardly asked for in situations like these.
I'll get back to you, Shishir. We'll get your audio also fixed a bit. But I asked Memon, the players themselves. I mean, the Pakistan. I just spoke to Farokh uncle about South African players. Some of the greatest players lost their careers because of apartheid, and the world came together on that. It wasn't the world wasn't split. The entire world was together saying not acceptable to have apartheid in the society. Now the world is fragmented, and the players lose out. I mean, an entire generation of Pakistani players has found it difficult to play cricket across the world. Do you believe that somewhere down the line, the players have no voice left? The administrators and the big money sponsors control the sport.
Yes, I mean the players are helpless or hapless in this situation. From what I've read about the Bangladesh players, they shrugged their shoulders and said, "What can we do?" And so do the Pakistani players. So I don't think that the players have too much choice. I just want to kind of make the point here, Rajdeep. You talked about politics in sport, but we've seen in the case of India and Pakistan, for 17 years, India and Pakistan didn't play each other from 1961-62 to 1978. It was politics which made it possible in 78 for India and Pakistan to resume cricketing ties, as we know. And then subsequently, post Kargil, again there was a 5 year gap before the two teams met again. So yes, politics is at the cause or the root of the current kind of impasse that we have seen, or the turmoil that we've seen. But in the past, we've also seen that politics has made it possible. So that's why I feel that there's too much emphasis being put on why can't BCCI do this or the PCB or BCB. But if the governments are willing, in the sense they are open to the idea, and instead of they've all taken a very hard position. If cricket diplomacy was allowed to play out,
Yes.
yes, you've got your interest to look after and other issues that have to be addressed in a very volatile, part of the world that we live in. But somewhere, is there a little space to ensure that sporting ties continue, and then that gives a segue into improving other ties? I mean, that's it sounds
I'll
a
give you an
little.
example. Ayaz, I'll give you an example. Parvez Musharraf and Atal Bihari Vajpayee, 2004. They were the ones who ensured eventually that India and Pakistan played each other 5 years after Kargil. Vajpayee was Prime Minister of India when Kargil took place. There was an election taking place, and yet he thought cricket diplomacy could melt the ice between the two countries. Maybe he was a romantic. Maybe all of us are cricket romantics, Farokh uncle. Maybe I know you are a cricket romantic, Farokh uncle. So you must believe that does sport build bridges? You had friends presumably who are
Absolutely.
Pakistanis,
Sport definitely
Mushtaq
builds-
Mohammad, Asif Iqbal. You had a number of Pakistani friends who played with you in the county
Well,
circuit.
I was just about to make that point. When I played for the World 11, Zahir
Yes.
Abbas was my roommate right at the height of India-Pakistan war.
Wow.
And the papers, the paparazzi must have caught me playing with Zahir's mustaches. And Sydney Herald had a huge front page picture. The India-Pakistan war question mark. And here I am playing with Zahir Abbas's mustache. I mean, that went viral, this photograph. But you made a very, very good point, and so has Ayaz, in fact, that it's the government's decision at the end of the day. It's not up to the players. I'm sure the players want to play each other, and this handshake business and
And
all that.
if I may ask you, you had, since you mentioned Zaid Abbas, off the field, you had excellent relationships with the Pakistani players?
Oh yes, I mean when Zahir and his wife is Indian after all, so
Yes.
common sense has prevailed somewhere down the line. So I mean, and she's a lovely girl too, and it's a real shame because Zahir was a great cricketer, certainly was, and
Right.
the
But
world.
can I just for a moment flip this, Shishir Atangdi, where we are lamenting what's gone wrong, but T20 is now a carnival. I mean, Farokh Engineer, if he was playing in the IPL, would have gone for what, 25 crores? How much would you have gone in the auction for, Farokh Engineer?
Oh, easily.
No, a
Easily,
little more
easily,
than that.
easily 25 crores.
Come on, I was not that bad.
Okay. You would break some records, but Shishir Atangdi, look at the way the game has now done. Let's look at the sport itself. Can I say with confidence that India go into this tournament as overwhelming favorites? We are like what the West Indies was in the late 70s, early 80s when it came to 50 overs and Test cricket. would you agree that that in a sense, forget the politics for a moment, India has redefined the sport. We are the big bullies off the field, unfortunately, but on the field, we are pretty special.
We are pretty special, and especially in the T20 format. If you look at the amount of experience our players have over the years playing in the IPL, they face situations, pressure situations, year after year, and for a tougher owner, that is a franchisee, and that is really tough. You know, it's tougher than the BCCI playing for the BCCI because the pressures are different. So they face these occasions time and time again in terms of the format, in terms of the pressures, in terms of the do or die situations. I think they're best equipped to handle this pressure in terms of this format. And playing in the subcontinent obviously gives them a better
Right.
advantage, a home advantage to be able to play at maximum performance.
Ayaz Memon, am I right in saying we are bullies when it comes to, let's say, the BCCI and running the ICC, but on the field, we're also bullies this time in a positive way. The way you have the Abhishek Sharmas and all batting, they're redefining the sport. Are we overwhelming favorites?
In my opinion, yes. I think it's just such a formidable team with great depth and variety in batting and bowling. And I think the manner in which they've been playing over the last maybe a year and a half. It seems to me that it'll be very difficult for any team to get the better of India. So India start as overwhelming favorites without doubt in my mind.
Farokh Engineer, are you surprised with the way today's cricketers hit sixes so easily? You were one of the few
No,
cricketers
I mean,
in your
okay,
generation who could hit sixes.
okay.
Most of the cricketers of your generation played along the ground. Sorry?
You know, we didn't have the bats that they have these days, but
Right.
some our youngsters seem to be fearless. You know, I mean, I've seen some of the youngsters, and I hugely admire their guts and the confidence because they hit sixes like they're eating fun. You know, I mean, I mean, okay, the great cricket bats, the shorter boundaries, and all that have helped, but some of these youngsters are superb timers of the ball, and I'm in huge admiration of them. I mean, as I said, if you pick two teams, we'll both probably meet in the finals. You know, that is the bench strength of the Indian team. In in fast bowling, in spin, Varun Chakravarti and all these guys, you got some top class spinners who are not even in the squad. Top class
You,
opening bowlers, top class all rounders. I mean, when we have
you,
people like Hardik Pandya and all that coming in about 6 or 7 or 8 people that are capable of getting quick hundreds for you. I mean,
you
they can't
you
get anything
don't see
wrong with the
anyone.
team.
You don't see anyone close to India in this World Cup. Any team which could, or
I
because
don't see because
T20,
Australia are a depleted side.
right?
You know, without Pat Cummins and all these guys, how much Travis Head, how much one man can do. But he's a phenomenal cricketer. In T20, anything can happen. You know, luck is a very important part. But by and large, looking at the bench strength of Indian cricket, India are out and out favorites as far as I'm concerned.
Shishir Adagni, out and out favorites, or do you believe there could be a surprise or two given the format? This format of T20 often means that who knows who plays a match-winning innings in 10 over, bats for 10 overs and turns a game. Each team seems to have power hitters who play with these big bats and can hit any ball for six. Is this redefining the sport, and is there any team that India, according to you, should be worried about?
Well, the worry will come when you come to the sudden death part of the tournament, because that's when it all matters. In the league stages, you always you have another life in the next game. But surprisingly, I would have given Pakistan a decent chance, if they play this tournament, because they're really playing well at the moment, and I'll be a little disappointed not to see them. Sri Lanka have a good chance too, so
Right.
I would say the Asian teams and would have a good chance to actually give a good account of themselves in this tournament.
Right.
Sadly, we don't know where we stand with Pakistan at the moment, but on a sudden death game, you never know what happens, and the pressure could just build on you.